Why do grandchildren inherit grandparent personality traits? Have you ever looked at a grandchild and thought, that reminds me of grandma, or that's just like grandpa? Sometimes the way they act, think, or even feel seems to echo traits from their grandparents. It's like a little piece of family history living on in them. But why does this happen? What makes certain personality traits pass from grandparents to grandchildren? Let's explore this fascinating connection. First, it's important to understand that personality traits are partly inherited through genes. Each person gets about 25% of their DNA from each grandparent. That means grandparents' genetic material directly influences who their grandchildren become. These genes carry instructions that shape traits like how outgoing or shy someone is, how focused or relaxed they might be, and even how they handle stress. Research shows that about 40 to 60% of personality differences among people come from genetics. So while environment and life experiences play a role, your genetic makeup forms a solid foundation. For example, if a grandmother is very organized and conscientious, her grandchildren might also show similar traits because those qualities are partly written into their genes. Specific traits tend to follow clear patterns of inheritance. Communication skills, for instance, are influenced by genes related to social behavior. Boys often inherit communication styles from their maternal grandfather, while girls tend to get these traits from their paternal grandmother. Extroverted children who love socializing may have inherited their outgoing nature from a grandparent known for being lively and energetic. Conversely, introverted children might reflect a more reserved grandparent. Intelligence is another trait that can pass down through generations. A child might inherit their intellectual abilities from their grandfather or grandmother. Sometimes, a father's side influences a daughter's intelligence, and a grandfather's side influences a son's. These patterns show how family traits can follow specific pathways. Even challenging traits like fears or phobias can be inherited. For example, if a grandmother experienced trauma that caused her to develop certain fears, her grandchildren might also carry genetic predispositions to similar anxieties. Stress susceptibility can also run in families, making some people more prone to feeling overwhelmed. The way genes work involves dominant and recessive patterns. Dominant genes tend to show their traits, while recessive ones might stay hidden but still be present. So, even if a trait skips a generation in how it appears, the genetic instructions for it are still there, waiting to show up later. From a grandparenting point of view, understanding these inherited traits helps build stronger connections. When grandparents see themselves in their grandchildren, it creates a sense of continuity and family legacy. Sharing personal stories about how they navigated life with their own personality traits can inspire grandchildren. For example, a grandmother who is naturally introverted might share how she found joy in quiet activities, encouraging her grandchild to embrace their own calm nature. A grandfather who is curious and adventurous can pass on his love for exploration, inspiring his grandchild to pursue their passions. This knowledge also helps grandparents understand their grandchildren better. Instead of seeing personality differences as random, they recognize how family traits are passed down and shaped by both genetics and life experiences. It turns family history into a living story, showing how traits evolve and persist through generations. It's important to remember that inheriting traits doesn't mean they are fixed. Genes set the stage, but how a trait develops depends on environment and choices. A grandchild might inherit their grandmother's tendency toward anxiety but learn to manage it in their own way. This blend of nature and nurture makes each person unique, even within the same family. Grandparents play a key role in this process. They can share their own stories about inherited traits, offering guidance and understanding. By doing so, they help grandchildren see themselves as part of a bigger family story, connected through shared traits and traditions. This connection becomes a meaningful way to pass down family history and strengthen bonds across generations.